Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries, Book 4, A Deep and Creeping Darkness. This is Chapter 48, A Lingering Fear. Yes, I know that's a whole lot of words in the title. Believe it or not, last week I hit the character limit for for YouTube. When I put the video up on YouTube, I was like 2 or 3 letters over for the character limit.
What did you have to do? I didn't even notice.
I think I cut the out of the Road to Vermilion. Because I'm like, how can I do this that's the most minimally intrusive that also doesn't mess with my my attention, my need for things to be ordered and neat, and it's not true OCD. I don't want to call it OCD, but I get a little twitchy about things like that, so
that's fair.
Anyway, here we are at episode 48, A Lingering Fear, possibly going to be titled on YouTube Lingering Fear. We'll see if I have enough characters. As you can tell by the ethereal purple glow in the lower left-hand corner, Dwight is not with us tonight. He is enjoying family vacation. I say in quotes because it's the American tradition of a long road trip in the car with an entire family. So it is what it is. Dwight's out there having family vacation time, and Ricky will be joining us momentarily. But everybody else is here.
The bottom row is very lonely right now. I am sorry to interrupt, but I am very alone.
But we got you, we got Gary, we got Brooke, all here on time. We are going to get into the game proper with a recap and all that good stuff here in just a quick moment. I know we got a couple minute late start, but guess what? We don't do a whole lot of announcements at the beginning of the game anymore because they're all in the pre-stream and they're showing up in the break as well. So be sure to check those out so you can check out our sponsors, all that good stuff. The only other thing I want to add as an addendum to one of the placards that's in there is the announcement about the Call to Adventure, the charity event for Game to Grow, taking place on Thursday the 16th through Monday the 20th, I believe. That is still happening, but we are going to have, over the next week, we are going to have more information coming out about that, such as who's running what games, what special guests we have, what the schedule looks like. But we are kicking that off with the Dawnbringers in a very special one-shot. And this group right here, we're going to be playing a special one-shot as well. I haven't even told these. This is the first they're hearing about it.
Are we? Okay.
And we're going to figure out what we want to do. You guys can think about it. We might, if you want, what we did with the Dawnbringers one year was they all rolled up evil versions of their characters and played those. So we'll think about that, but that will be rounding out our first Call to Adventure coming up in just under 2 weeks. So stay tuned for more information about that. Before we get into our recap, of course, one thing that we don't put just in the opening roll, pre-roll and stuff, because we want to take the time to tell you, is you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether or not you believe it is true. Maybe you're struggling, and that's okay, but we want you to know that you don't have to struggle alone. If you or someone you know is in need of mental health or other services, we encourage you to visit findahelpline.com. These helplines are available to provide you with confidential and a non-judgmental space for free. They're all staffed by supportive people who provide immediate support, counseling, and information. You can access the URL at any time in our chat simply by typing help. You'll also notice, by typing !help in the chat, just like this. That's the number 1. Let's try it like that. There we go. You'll notice I've also added the takethis.org mental health resources link in there as well. That page is full of wonderful resources. So please, we encourage you to bookmark these sites for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. Now, who wants to play some Dungeons and Dragons?
I do.
It's all you guys. Let's play.
Let's go.
So,
Let's go.
you all have made your way up the road to Vermalen, a 3-day arduous journey in snow, trekking up switchbacks to the top of this mountain. It was not without its own trials and things that you had to deal with, but when you got to the top and you saw the town of Vermalen at the end of that 3rd day, you knew it was time to focus on the job at hand, which is, of course, escorting the Royal Mining Consortium, which consists, of course, of Kahlo and Manistrad Copperlocks and the others of that team, to check out the Platinum Mine. You finally made it to Vermalen, what appears to be a dark and abandoned town. You quickly set about investigating some of the nearby buildings and structures, trying to find a safe place to rest for the night. Eventually, you did so in an old blacksmith shop. You snooped around a bit, found a couple things of value, set up some watches, started a fire, and Vorn, while on first watch, encountered his mother, or a vision of his mother outside, who he refused to believe was her, yelled loudly to attack her, and awakened all of you. You fought very hard against this. In the end, Vorn, who was knocked unconscious, awoke with a start, finding that he had fallen asleep on guard. And all of you awoke in the next morning, having dreamt similar dreams. All of you had the exact same dream that you were fighting with your companions, except the individual that you were fighting was somebody important to you. Now, one thing that I forgot to do last session, and I'm going to have you all do now, is you all need to make me a saving throw, and I will tell you in a moment. That is... let me find it real quick. Where did it go? We're gonna call it a. If I can't find it, it's gonna be one of two things. Here it is.
Dex would be great. I choose.
It is
Dex.
a wisdom saving throw.
Damn
That's
it.
what I thought it was.
Okay. Oh, that's actually like one of my best ones. Cool.
Oh, congratulations!
So yes, all of you, and I will be rolling for Mizia.
I could still fail.
Vorn, you already failed this wisdom saving throw.
No fair. That's how it goes.
So you already have the point of exhaustion.
Ruckus.
I got a 19.
I also got a 19. Twinning.
Oh, twins.
I got an
Hashtag-
8.
Oh, that's half of us.
And Mizia passed as well. Doc, your dream was exceptionally troubling, and you awaken with a point of exhaustion as well. It is the next day. It is the 8th of Kai Thorn. All of you begin waking up, either with a start or just gradually realizing, one, that you were never woken up for guard duty if you were supposed to have been. That sunlight, or rather not sunlight, but bright light is streaming in through the window. And Vorn, you are just awakening sort of where you fell leaned up against the door to this building. As a reminder, go here to our map screen. As a reminder, you are in a very particular building right here. It was the remnants of a place called the Wand and Hammer. So, as light is streaming through the windows, Vorn, as the harsh light and cold air is falling across your own face, Kahlo next to you, Manistrad, and the rest of the crew are all waking up. The Doc, and the Rack and Crack sisters, look like they had a very rough night. But Manistrad and Rose Apple Blossom, they seem well rested enough. But everybody is really quiet as they are packing up their bedrolls and getting things around. What would you all like to do?
I am very quiet, and I'm packing up my bedroll and getting my stuff around. I would kind of be giving Vorn a little bit of shit for not waking me up for guard duty.
Vorn's outside?
Be like, yeah, I would kind of once I'm like ready, okay. I would kind of go out there, and that'd be the first thing I would do. I'd be like, so you felt like taking the whole night yourself, huh?
And Vorn, feeling you ever have those nights where you sleep but you don't feel like you slept at all, like you just kind of blink and you wake up and it's like morning? And Vorn is equally like in this state of confusion, and he's I could have swore dreams. Did you? That's here. I had the worst nightmare I've ever had. Well, it's up there. I've had lots of nightmares, but this one felt real.
And you said that we all have had a similar experience, right?
Yep. You don't know that you had the same dream,
right?
But you know that you dreamt somebody important to you were fighting against.
So Tira would just sort of sigh and lean up against the side of the house, and she'd be like, yeah, now that you mention it, I had a rough one as well.
I was fighting my mother, but she wasn't my mother. She had the face of my mother. And I think I died in my dream. Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah. Well, it's like just almost does, Just when you're about to, you wake up, right?
No, I think I was pretty close to the edge, if not past it. Did you have any dreams?
Yeah, you have to keep it a secret, though. Don't tell the others. They, gotta be the tough one,
Right?
Yeah, I dreamt about my mother, now that you mention it.
Did she try to kill you too?
I don't know, did she?
Yes, exactly what happened in Vorn's dream happened to all of you.
Yeah, she did. It was her face, but it's hard to remember, Things took a turn, and then it wasn't her, really,
Yeah. My mom had these, I don't know, these tendrils, these tentacles.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We definitely had the same dream. This place. That's what happened to the people here, right? Isn't that what Manistrad said? Like he started having dreams, and then something happened, and now they're all gone.
Yeah, we have to make sure that doesn't happen to us.
Well, I don't see a way to do that other than just not go to sleep.
Yeah.
Doc's in luck. I bet he didn't dream about a damn thing.
Yeah, we should ask him.
Yeah. Let's.
Yeah. Let's get going with this town. I hate it.
I hate it too. Let's
I
go.
don't want to be here a minute longer. We need to be.
Couldn't agree more.
So they're outside, right? We're all inside still?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kahlo had brought this up last night and said that if anybody had a weird dream to bring it up. So Kahlo's not going to be a hypocrite and we'll speak up inside and say, oh dear, I definitely had some kind of disturbing nightmare last night. I hope that doesn't mean we're going to start vanishing. Oh.
Manistrad looks over at you and says, hey, my dreams were unsettling last night as well.
You too?
I fell asleep eventually, but they were nightmarish. And
I just remember them talking about those sort of things down in the last town.
Well, let's hope that. And she kind of indicates around Doc and Mizia and the other two outside. Let's hope this is something they can watch our backs for as much as you can watch someone's back where a dream is concerned.
I suppose.
You begin to smell and hear the crackling of grease and smell cooking bacon and eggs and potatoes. The Rack and Crack sisters are over the forge fire, having pulled some pots and pans out of their packs, and apparently they bought some provisions in the form of meat and potatoes and eggs, and they are cooking up a hearty breakfast.
They are my favorite NPCs in this campaign.
They are doing so very quietly, but they are cooking everything up, sort of all in one pot, and everything's soaking up all that bacon grease nice and good. And I think at a certain point, Vorn and Tira, you would smell the cooking coming from inside.
I would think maybe at that point you would kind of hear Tira at least start to laugh, and Vorn kind of laugh politely, and then you hear, "Oi, Doc, did you have any dreams last night?" And then that's like right at the end of Vorn and Tira's conversation from before.
As Doc hears Tira shout at him, Doc is going to say, "Tira, you're very loud."
I'm sorry.
And Doc will he'll walk outside and he will say, "I didn't have a dream so much as a vision. It's weird. You can't have a dream if you don't sleep. So there's really only one way to describe it as a vision. Something that your eyes can see that isn't there."
Yeah. I suppose if you're not asleep, it's not a dream, but what was yours about?
There was a humanoid figure, and they didn't have a face, but they had 1,000 voices that were all speaking at once, and I couldn't really make any of it out. It was all very strange.
Sounds strange. And then I kind of like look around at like the haunted faces of every other effing person in here, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Mizia's face is buried in a book.
Yeah.
It was a very strange dream, as dreams go.
You guys keep calling them dreams like they were not mind altering. I've had lots of dreams. I've had plenty of nightmares. Even a vision or two. This was something more. This was invasive.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
I don't disagree.
But anyways, that bacon smells delicious.
Yes, it does. Vaughn and I had conferred that we should get on with our business and get the fuck out of here as quickly as possible.
Oh,
You have way
okay.
with
Right.
Tira.
Well, I can appreciate that sentiment. It has taken us the better part of a 10-day to get this far. It's going to take more than a day to make assessments in the mine, I think. But if we can get down into the mine and get to work, we can probably make our assessments within a day or two. And then, as you said, potentially get the F out of here.
Doc, Kahlo, don't we have one other,
We do.
Errand?
We were gonna go into the cemetery with the flowers that we had.
Yes.
See if we could drop them on the grave. I remember us talking about how it's probably better to go by daylight.
I agree.
Right.
I can walk over there with you.
All right.
Doc
Anybody
will,
else?
Doc will pull the flowers out of his pack that he picked up off the ground, and he's like, "Well, it's daytime."
Well, then let's get going. I don't think we need to draw this out any more than we need to.
I'd agree.
Doc is he's going to look at Kahlo, and as they're walking forward away from the group, he's going to say, "I don't think that Manistrad Copperlocks understands that I'm probably the smartest person that he's ever met. So I'm very likely she is very likely to cut down all necessary surveying by a considerable margin."
Right. Are you skilled in the very fine act of surveying, taking samples, getting... And she rattles off a bunch of stuff that I can't even fake that I know that would have to do with mining, core samples, blah, 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 blah.
And it's
Excellent.
and blowing things up real good.
No, I'm not skilled in any of that, but I'm the smartest person you'll probably ever meet, so I don't need to be.
Well, I'm sure you'll be very helpful to us.
Oh, I'm sure as well. That's why I said it.
Doc,
You are-
there are many
You are
ways
an
someone can be
interesting
smart.
one.
What was that, Born?
I was gonna say, there are many ways someone can be smart. Someone as smart as yourself should surely know that. And you couldn't, you know what? Never mind. And I'm gonna start walking towards the cemetery with everybody else.
Mhm.
Oh, don't worry, Born. I don't mind at all.
Mm.
Oh.
And I would just be kind of quietly talking with Morn as we're walking in Orcish, and just kind of small talk, but in
Mhm.
Orcish, which is kind of familiar to Tira and comforting, at least for her.
Kahlo, do you know what's funny?
Well, a real good joke.
Yes, I don't have one of those. I'm not much for jokes, but it's funny that Tira and Born like to speak in Orcish because I don't speak Orcish. So it's almost like they don't want me to understand what they're saying.
Well, it seems that the two of them are very close, and so it's probably just the best they can get at privacy.
As Kahlo says that they're close, Doc is going to do his best impression of a wink.
Is that how they do that where you come from?
No, I just made it up, but I understand that that's generally what you're supposed to do, right?
You're right. You're right. I never met anyone quite like you before, Doc.
That's true. I'm told I'm one of a kind, or unique, Or someone once said I was very unique. And then I, of course, corrected them because I said something is either unique or it isn't unique. There's no degrees of uniqueness.
No, I suppose that's true because each thing would be unique. But what I was going to say is it inappropriate to ask what kind you are if you're one of a kind?
What kind I am? That's a great question. I don't really have an answer to that. I just sort of am. I am who I am, really. I am me, and much of what I know has been on our journey, investigating scribes and scrolls while undertaking the Candlekeep mysteries.
Roll credits.
Title drop, boom.
Meanwhile, like, if you ever listen to two dude bros talk about which scopes to use in Call of Duty, that's a similar conversation that Tyr and Vorn are having about, like, the differences versus an axe and a sword, and leather gauntlets versus, like, metal bracers, and, like, just, it's like dude bro, but it's in orcish, you know?
100%. And at one point, Tiro would kind of, like, glance over her shoulder and just say to Vorn, like, they look like they're getting on well. And nod back at Kahlo and Doc. So I don't believe Doc's ever said to me, I asked a very good question.
Well, Doc doesn't say that to anybody, really.
I'll have to tell Kahlo. It's very special.
Yeah.
Very unique.
It doesn't take long for your group to make your way up the thoroughfare to the outside of a large house. You see this grand 2-story brick house that is clearly fallen prey to time and the elements like the rest of the village, but it looks like it's in better shape than the smaller houses. Heavy wooden double doors are flanked by dark windows, and a couple of large chimneys anchor the building at each corner. The masonry crumbling, you can see pieces of stone from the chimneys down on the ground. In front of the house, where everybody has sort of stopped for a moment, there's this wide, tall, leafless tree with gnarled branches reaching skyward. The rough bark of this tree is pockmarked with large knots and beetle holes. It's the largest and by far the creepiest tree in the town. You can see just to the west a little bit, left of the house, maybe 100 feet or so, the wrought iron gates, and you can see the stone headstones beyond of the graveyard. Manistrad just says, right, we're gonna stay here while you do whatever it is you're gonna do at the graveyard. When you come back, I'd like to, maybe we should check this house out. It looks like it would be probably the mayor's place. See what we can find in the way of records or anything about the mine.
Kahlo, which grave are we putting these flowers on again?
This was for, let me check my little list of side quests. Hold on. We're looking for Lorna's grave, aren't we?
Yeah.
So right. she was the one who was in the mine and didn't come back. No, that's what I have down.
Okay.
I hope that's accurate.
Well,
I think it is.
Some graves getting flowers.
We're looking for her necklace too. It was in the hollow of a tree. You don't suppose it's that real creepy one, do you?
Most certainly.
As you turn and look,
is there like a hollow?
As you turn and look, the Rack and Crack sisters have just sort of both copped a squat next to this tree. And as you all just turn and look, they all look up at you.
Are Are there any visible hollows in this tree?
Question.
Yeah, there's several knots, and there's a good knot off on the right side of the tree, a few feet up that looks like
Is
it's
it
got a
high
hole
enough?
in it.
Okay, I'm gonna go look in there a second.
All right, wait,
Yes.
why don't you give me the flowers, and I
Okay.
will look around the graveyard for the gravestone.
No, it's okay. I'll hang on to the flowers, Born. I know how to put them down.
But what I'm saying is that
No, I hear you.
I just hand them to Doc. He gave them to me in the first place, and I'll go check out the tree.
I lean to Vorn and I say, "How about we just stick together?"
always, and I do a fist bump.
Fist bump.
And then like that's kind of like, I don't know, the faster we can find this gravestone, you know, like it's one thing to be in a creepy town that's giving you haunting nightmares, but it's one thing to be in a cemetery in a creepy town that's giving you nightmares, and then it's another thing to reach your hand inside a knotted tree that's obviously here to kill us. Okay,
As you
You
say
sound
that, the
you
Rack
sound
and Crack
paranoid.
sisters grabbed their pickaxes where they were leaning against the tree, and they kind of both go. And they get up and they go sit on next to a stone that's about 10 feet away from the tree.
see, they know.
Amazing.
Kahlo, you said you were going to go look in the tree.
Yes, I want to go take a looky in there.
How tall are you?
That is a great question. Let me check.
6'5".
I'm actually 5'4". Turtles aren't that high.
Oh,
So I'm
Itty
5'4".
isn't
I'm
Doc like
just-
7 foot?
Just a lot of weight.
6'10".
So the knot is 5 feet up.
Okay.
So you won't be able to see into it unless you stand on your tiptoes, but you can definitely reach into it.
I will definitely stand on my tiptoes, and assuming that it's dark down in there anyway. Let me see. I've got my little lantern, so I'll use my ever bright lantern and I'll shine it down in there. Get it off my pack. Clank, clank, clank.
All right, we see this momentary shot that looks like the whole screen is darkness with a white circle of clouded sky, and then we momentarily see just the top of Kahlo's head and eyes peering in, and then we hear the clanking, and then this bright light, kind of a lens flare, as Kahlo's back up and shining the light in there, and then you start reaching in around, and after a few moments, a few seconds really, you find your fingers curl around a chain of some kind, a thin chain.
I will scoop it up with little claws here. Pull it up so I can see it in the light.
And you pull it out and hold it up, and you have a thumb-sized platinum oval pendant threaded on a very thin chain. The whole thing looks like it'd be worth about 20 gold pieces. As you hold it up and it sort of swivels on the chain, you see that in a very carefully engraved script on the back of this pendant, it says, "For Lorna, I love you always and always."
Oh.
Well, isn't that sweet? And I will turn
Did you
and hold
find
it up,
it?
hold it up
And then-
triumphantly, and I'll say, it says forlorna. It almost sounds like forlorn. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's hilarious. And I'm looking at the
Yeah.
gravestones, looking at the different gravestones, and I'm like, why would the necklace be in the tree?
That's
Any
where we were
thoughts,
told it
Tara?
was.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but like,
probably to keep it dry. It's hidden. It's a hiding place.
yeah. Why anything, right? And I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
gravestones.
Haven't you ever done
you're-
something nice for somebody you love, Vaughn? Something silly and romantic?
You don't know the half of it.
As they're talking, Doc, you hear, almost as if whispered right into your ear, Doctor, whose voice do you hear?
Ooh.
Mizya.
What do you do when you hear Mizya say, Doctor?
Yes? Yes?
A few feet away from you, sitting on a rock with their legs crossed, looking at a book, Mizya suddenly looks up. What is it, Doctor?
Did you call me?
No, I did not.
Oh. Well, I think the town is talking to me then.
Mm-hmm. And they go back to looking at their book.
As we're approaching the cemetery, Doc is going to gesture to the fence, and he's going to say, Kahlo,
Yes,
do you know why they built a fence around that cemetery?
probably to keep people from defacing the graves and all.
No, it's even simpler than that. It's because people are dying to get in.
Oh, now that's a very good joke, Doc.
Amazing.
That's a knee slapper.
Oh my god. This is beautiful.
As you approach, you see a crooked wrought iron archway that is at the entrance to the graveyard, which is overgrown like the rest of the village. Inside, you can see headstones sitting at odd angles. Some of them have toppled over completely. Small cairns, rather than inscribed headstones, mark the graves towards the back of the cemetery.
Vorn's gonna ask Ditto.
Ditto.
Ditz, are you there?
I am always here.
Hey, this place is giving me weird feelings. I'm not scared. I don't typically get scared. Okay, fuck it, I'm scared. I need you to can you watch my back? Like literally, like be eyes behind me.
I can do that. And you hear this sort of as the ooze that is the or the form that is the mimic kind of momentarily shifts off of your pauldron and shifts to the back of your armor and where your pack is, and kind of slides up on there and sort of starts to blend into part of your pack and begins watching your back.
As we are walking through the cemetery looking for Lorna's grave so that we can put the flowers down, Doc is going to say, hey, Kahlo,
Yeah,
how many people do you think are dead in here?
in the cemetery?
Mm-hmm.
I'd hope all of them.
At best, yeah.
And then for a minute, Vorn overhears this and has a moment of existential dread. Like, wait a minute, we're in a cemetery. Am I dead? No, I'm not dead. That was just a dream. Just a dream.
Oh, Born.
Don't worry, Vorn. You're not dead yet.
Yeah, thanks, Doc.
You're welcome. I'm here for you.
I would kind of put my hand on Vorn's on the meaty part here, and I just sort of give him a squeeze. He's having a hard day.
I would like all of you that are in the cemetery to make me a wisdom perception check.
Oh, I'm great at this.
I actually am. 16.
Nat 20, so.
Hey!
10.
That's gonna be a power 8.
Okay.
8's my lucky number.
Kahlo, as you all are making your way through, you're looking at the gravestones, kind of tilting your head back and forth as several of them have been toppled. Much of these gravestones have the look of 70 years of age on them, weather worn from the winds. But you can make out a few names here and there, and you keep moving further and further back until you find the last row, just a few tombstones away from where the cairns are instead of full graves, and you see the name Lorna Grosvenor, and below it it says, "Beloved of Lucas, always and always." It is tilted at an angle, looks like it's about to fall over backwards, but this appears to be Lucas's wife's grave.
I look around. Are there any extra like stones, like just normal stones, not headstones, but any large chunks of dirt or stone nearby?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of stones on all the cairns.
Oh, I don't want to open one of those. What I'm looking to do is see if there's anything that I could use my mold earth spell to like prop up the headstone so it's not gonna fall
the very
over.
the very earth that the gravestone is set upon,
Yeah,
you could shift.
I just didn't want to be like digging it up, but if I can shift it a little to make it straight,
I think you could absolutely do that, sort of shift the earth around and straighten up the tombstone.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do so that it's not sitting so cockeyed and doesn't look like it's gonna fall over anymore. And I'll
sure
say,
is nice of you, Kahlo.
I found it. Well, it's not right that it should look so dilapidated.
Yeah, that was nice of you. Doc is going to lean into Tira and he's going to whisper in that Doc way. He's going to say, "Hey, Tira.
Yeah.
Do you need to dig up this grave before I put the flowers down?"
No, Doc. That was just that was different.
Oh, that's not just the thing you do, the digging up of the graves?
No, it's not a thing I do regularly.
Oh, because you dug up like 4 of them, and the last time we saw one.
Because I had to, Doc. It was a thing. We had to get to the Shadowfell because Never mind. It won't ever happen again. I'm sorry I did it if it hurt your feelings.
Oh, no, it didn't hurt my feelings. I just thought it was very strange behavior.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it.
Did it end up working out okay?
You could say that.
I could, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that either, honestly.
Doc is going to use his hands, and he's going to dig a little bit of the earth out of the top of the grave. He's going to stick the flowers down in, and he's going to build a mound so that they're standing upright in the top.
Nice.
As you do that, Mizya, who's been pretty silent this whole time, kind of stands next to you and just reaches their hand out and sort of lightly touches the tombstone. And after a few moments, as you look up, Doc, and the rest of you look, the tombstone has all of the mold and mildew has been prestidigitated away from it. It looks almost, except for the erosion on it, almost like a freshly carved tombstone. And as you stand up from placing these flowers upon the grave, you all hear like a sigh that blends into the breeze around you. Vorn,
Yes.
you hear at your back in the direction of the cairns, you hear the sound of weeping.
Vorn nudges Tira and says in Orcish, see to it that I get a proper orc cremation if I ever die. And then he says, do you hear that? In
I would
Orcish.
kind of be laughing at the "if I ever die" statement, and then when he says, "Do you hear that?" I listen. Do I hear it?
You do.
I would just kind of nod.
Ditto. I had that feeling of a little kid when he is in the basement and he's kind of like at the top stairs and doesn't want to look behind himself.
Yep.
I cannot.
Tira,
I cannot relate to that. Ditto says. I have never been
God,
a human
did I say-
child or a half
did I say
orc
that
child.
out loud?
Neither
Yeah.
is he.
Ditto, is there something behind me? Us. Is there something? I don't. Screw it. And I turn around really quick in the way that you turn around when you just have to fight your dream or fear.
You turn around and you see where the cairns are. The stones are not where they were moments ago, where they were placed neatly over the bodies. Instead, they are lying next to several shrouded bodies lying on the ground. There are several people standing around, some of whom are placing rocks around the bodies and stacking them in the form of the cairn, while others, and sometimes even the individuals that are lifting the rocks, sometimes they're children. Some of them are older. You see husbands, wives, mothers, fathers.
See.
They're all,
Do I see all this as well?
you do, all of you that look in this direction see
God.
as people are weeping, that a light rain is falling.
Doc, you wouldn't happen to have any blessed water, would you? Or salt?
No. Why would I have blessed water? Why don't you have blessed water?
For the smartest person in the group, you sure have a lot of questions, Doc.
You
Just
tell him.
thinking.
You don't happen to have salt, do you?
Anything?
You have just about everything else on your back. Kahlo.
I don't think I have any salt, but let me take a look and see. And I just start rifling like slowly through all of these bags.
I don't think I don't think they mean us any harm. So, but we all can see them, right? We all can see what I'm seeing, right?
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of ghost people mourning?
They're
other
not ghosts.
People.
They look like,
Or do you?
they look, everybody looks corporeal.
Do
No.
you see a lot of people in mourning?
Which is weird because I didn't hear them, I didn't smell them,
Yeah.
and I figured that we would have seen them if they were here as we were approaching,
Yeah.
which makes me.
Go ahead.
Tira,
Yeah.
punch my arm.
I do immediately.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm mostly confident that I'm not dreaming. Are you
Yeah.
dreaming?
If we were dreaming, I don't think we're probably dreaming together. I think you were probably right. They don't seem to mean us any harm, so let's
Make
go.
all of you make wisdom saving throws.
Oh.
21.
No. Oh God.
Goodness gracious. That is a 3.
Power 4 for me.
Yes, go.
14 for Mizia.
Can we do like a group score, like a cumulative score?
I think
We
we should.
wish.
Kahlo,
An
what was
average.
yours?
21.
And what was yours, Doc?
15.
Kahlo,
Mm-hmm.
you see everything that the others see. But to you, you see this scene superimposed over the current state of the graveyard. Everybody has a semi-transparent appearance to them. And everybody has what looks almost like mist rising from them. Like if you were indoors for a while and stepped out into the cold air. Except the mist is shadowy. And you see that all of these figures have this. Make a perception check.
20.
You notice that as the shadow seems to emanate off of these people that you see before you, it all seems to sort of coalesce and join together and seems to be flowing in a direction to the northeast. Vorn.
Do you all see that? And I'm looking off in that direction.
As Kahlo says this, Vorn, you see a young woman who looks to be, she's human. She looks to be in her late teens or early 20s, but you can see that her face is streaked with tears and her hair is going prematurely gray. And she walks over hesitantly towards you.
Vorn is going to oh gosh. Okay. And hands up, and he calls out to her. Easy. Who are you? We mean you no harm. We did not come to disturb your peace. Can you speak?
Hey.
I'm Vorn. Who are you?
I just wanted to ask you a question.
Okay.
Why? Why did they all have to die? Why did everybody have to die in the mine, and why are the children and the people disappearing? We are burying more people this week than we've buried in the last 3 years.
Wait.
Tell me why.
Wait. Are you alive? You're not one of them. You're here.
She looks up at you with solid black eyes.
Oh,
Why
God.
are they all dying, Vorn? Why have they all died, Vornuk? Why?
Vorn is going to like, if you push the O button in Elden Ring, you dodge back 2 feet. That's what Vorn's going to jump back 2 feet, and he's going to not unsheath his axe, but put his hand on the handle and says, "We're here to figure that out and find out. We don't mean any harm."
If you didn't mean any harm, they wouldn't have died for you, Vornuk. I need you to make a... I'm going to have you make a wisdom saving throw.
Am I hearing this too?
Oh, yes, absolutely. All of you are here.
Okay, I was just making sure. God damn.
Vorn is just rolling the best he ever did tonight with the strongest 3 that can
A
be
mighty
rolled.
3.
As
mighty
you
three.
as you hear that, why did they have to die, Vornuk? You all begin to hear the rest of the townsfolk. They've stopped what they're doing, and they all turn and are looking at all of you. Why, they say in unison, why did they have to die? And Vorn, you feel what feels like a strong hand at your throat, and you are lifted several feet off the ground.
Oh damn!
Oh no!
Do I get Vorn is going to
Oh no!
close his eyes and reach into his
As soon
psionic
as you
energy.
close your eyes,
Yeah.
you see a flash of swirling black clouds. There is a crash of red arcane lightning, and in that crash you see these two massive voids. You sense that what you are seeing in this split second of your eyes being closed is you are seeing just miles and miles of field of vision, and two massive voids like eyes appear in the momentary flash of lightning. Now what do you do?
Vorn was going to try to use his psychic power by closing his eyes and focusing.
You can certainly try.
As, Vorn looks up at these two eyes and goes, "You."
Sick. Awesome. Get him.
I've sensed your presence before. I've sensed you when I was a child. I've sensed you in the axe. I've sensed you in my tribe. I've sensed you in my mother. And now we finally meet. Is it you?
Yes.
And he feels his fear.
And no. I am the ancient. I have been with you since before you were born. But I am not who you think I am. There's another arcane flash, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, Vorn. What are all of you doing as Vorn is suddenly lifted in the air by an unseen force?
Am I? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, absolutely. You go first.
Am I seeing any difference in like what I was noticing with the like the misty thing going off in the one?
Oh,
Has
you
anything
saw-
changed?
The only thing that changed was that you saw, primarily coming from the young woman, but it seems to be joined from around her. Some of these shadowy tendrils have joined together and are reaching out and are holding Vorn up in the air, wrapped
so
like
I
a
can-
shadowy tentacle around his throat.
Oh, that's not good. And nobody else can see that, or everybody can see that?
Everybody, you're the only one that can see the shadowy tendrils.
Cool.
Such responsibility.
Oh, I got 21, by the way, on that
Nice.
roll.
Okay, you
Do
are
I
maintaining
think-
your consciousness.
I mean, I
It's pure
assume that I
psychic
think
energy.
this is like some kind of ghosty thing, but do I think it might be like some kind of magic spell?
I can't tell you what you think. If you want to make a
Arcana
check,
Okay.
or
I got 23 Arcana.
Okay.
Sick.
You sense that there is magic at work here, but it's unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna try to dispel it because I want to help Ford and I don't know what else to do. So I'm gonna make an attempt to dispel
Okay.
on the tendril that is around him.
Nice.
All right, that
So it's an ability check. 10 plus the level. If it is a spell, I'll tell you what I do get, I guess.
yeah. So,
So
if
I
it's
just
third
do a
level,
D20 plus my.
you do a D20 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Okay. That's a 15.
Wow.
And
I am casting it as 3rd level, which is what it is.
you're casting it at 3rd level, the base level.
Yeah.
Sorry, you rolled a what?
15.
Okay. So you cast this spell magic, saying the
No, let him go.
as you do that, and you all hear Kahlo call out. Kahlo, what you see is as you say that and you gesture forcefully, all of this as if blowing a wind blowing smoke, and as it hits all of the apparitions, they all dissipate into the wind. The rest of you, as Vorn, you feel the tension around your throat release and you fall.
Can I catch him?
You can try.
I would like to try.
Make a dexterity check.
How high was I lifted up?
10 feet.
10 feet? That's pretty high.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that's an 8.
Okay,
I
so
try.
you both take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as Vorn collapses on you.
Yeah.
But what you all see is you don't see the dissipation. You don't see them blink away. They're there and then they're not. And in the wake of their presence, you almost immediately are unsure if you even saw them.
Now that was just not very welcoming.
Vorn jumps up. He kind of gets up immediately upon falling on Tira, and he is shouting, "Where are you? Where did you go? Are you the one holding these people?" And I'm looking around frantically, and my eyes are blazing. I'm gonna roll odd even real quick. Hold on. Okay. My eyes are blazing red. And my mark of shame is blazing red too, as I'm feverishly looking around everywhere, trying to find out where this presence left to.
I would make my way. I would kind of scramble up, and I would be like, I take Vorn by the shoulders, and I'm just trying to comfort him and say I'm speaking to him softly in Orcish, and I just kind of like it's fine, you're fine, that kind of just reassurance. And then I would take him by the face, and I would then notice his eyes and his mark of shame, and Tira's scared for a second.
Yeah, it's blazing like blood lava red, and Vorn is frothing, because all of that fear has converted directly into anger, and he is, at the cusp of going full orc, and he's now he's shouting in Orcish, and he looks at Tira, and I'm gonna roll quick. There's no willpower. Okay. And he looks around again and takes a breath, and the fiery dark blood red amber in his eyes and in his scar, his mark of shame, kind of begin to dissipate, and everything kind of returns back to normal. And he feels that feeling you get after you stub your toe and you're really angry at the bedpost just kind of dissipate and kind of flow away from him
Did I make a mistake? Did he want the horrible ghost thing to stay?
Kahlo, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Doc,
I'm
what are you doing during all this, Doc?
Doc is going to be observing not the situation, but he is going to be looking around. So obviously what he's trying to see is, I guess the way I would describe it is, he's trying to see the sleight of hand behind the magic. So the magician is picking Vorn up and using his hands but he's trying to look around elsewhere to see what the magician is doing, to see if he can tell what the origin is, etc., etc. So I'd like to make an investigation check if I can, to sort of see if there's any sign or anything.
Absolutely.
Okay, Doc is going to touch himself on the chest and say, "You can do it." Okay. So as he's looking around, he hears in his voice, or he hears in his mind, a deep voice. It's rumbling as if coming from somewhere deep in the ground. He can't make out exactly what it says, but the last thing he can make out, and it says, "Fear." And so I will roll my d6. I am using my power. Okay, so I rolled very well. My investigation was 37.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Nice.
That was a good roll, Gary.
Yeah, I know, guys. Thanks.
Good job.
So
I did it myself.
as you begin scrutinizing this area, there's a moment where right around the time you start doing this and in the wake of Vorn collapsing, Mizia has suddenly, you would hear this sort of snapping of a book slamming closed, and Mizia has that purple quill in hand and is going, and you would just see the fairy fire spell kind of looking like it's reaching out, trying to grab hold of things and finding nothing to purchase on. As Mizia seemed to also be trying to figure out if there was some unseen thing here. But Doc, what you discover as you are looking around, you see no sign of the shadowy mist that Kahlo saw. You see nothing to indicate any footprints. But what you do see is everywhere that one of these people were standing, you see that the ground is disturbed. The best way to describe it within the game world in a way that you could probably relate to is, imagine if you have a rope that has been laid out along dirty ground or dusty ground, and somebody has taken that rope and pulled it, and it leaves behind this disturbance and this sort of trail. You see several of those, and they all coincide together, converge at the entrance to the graveyard, and they trail off back the way you came towards the mayor's house that you left the others outside of. At which point, as you sort of look up and you're looking a few hundred feet away from the mayor's house, you hear the sound of a bell. Dung, 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 dung. And you can see Manistrad and the others all kind of looking up and looking towards the front of the house. And that's where we're going to take our break.
Wow. Ooh.
Spooky. Spooky, scary.
So, stick around. We are going to be back in about 10 minutes. Check out our advertisements and such during the break. We will see you on the other side of the break.
Go. Now I'm beautiful. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the first word. And we're back. Ricky's beautiful.
He's
And we're ready to go.
I just turned up my light like 1 degree lighter, that's all.
Perfect.
I think you're subconsciously wired that when I hit the button to come back from break, you have to say something.
I can't
It
help
is.
It's like the pull string on those
Perfect.
old toys. You've got a phrase.
Yes.
Let's hear what phrase Ricky's going to say this time. And I make sure that
gotta be
those
a
make
list
the
of
cut when I
phrases.
edit the breakout in the PODs too.
They have
As they
to. It's
should.
part of the experience.
It is. But Ricky's not the only one because you've done it a couple times too, Carrie.
Oh, 100%. We're social creatures.
So, there is a bell ringing back at the manor house. As Doc, you have seen these signs of what look like ropes or something having been pulled along the ground. Do you all head for the mayor's house, or what do you do?
Yeah, Doc is
Yeah.
going to head straight there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
And he's going to say, it seems like they're all tethered to that building. It seems very strange and out of the ordinary. And then he's going to stop. He's going to look down for a second. And then he's going to continue walking.
As Tira begins to jot off behind, I'm gonna like just gently grab her by her forearm real quick and say, listen, if I lose myself, counting on you to bring me back, not to kill me. Just
Okay, good. That made me really nervous the way you framed that, Vaughn.
yeah.
But yeah. Any tips?
Just be Tira.
Spelling? I do.
Are you talking loud enough for everybody to hear? Or are you just talking straight to Tira?
I'm talking like loud enough for everyone to hear, I guess. Yeah. I'm not shouting it. I'm not shouting in her face.
Right. Doc is
Hey!
Doc overhears and he's like, okay, well, if you need somebody to bring you back, it'll be Tira. And if you need somebody to kill you, I'm sure Mizia would volunteer.
And Vaughn looks over at Mizia.
Yes.
Perfect.
See?
Mizia,
All right,
as
well-
Mizia says this, as soon as you look away, Mizia looks at Tira and goes,
I make it clear that I'm glad Mizia doesn't want to kill Vaughn.
All right. I'm just gonna follow behind as
So,
everyone
you all
runs
come
towards the
charging
house.
up to where the others are, and man, the Rack and Crack sisters have pulled out their pickaxes and are looking around, and Manistrad just points at the house and says, I don't know, it just started, all of a sudden the bell started ringing, and it's hard to tell now, but I could have sworn I heard voices from inside.
Voices.
What were they saying?
I couldn't make it out. It was just the sound of what sounded like people inside. And then the bell started ringing. And you can all see that at the front of the this house, where the big double doors are, there's mounted to the outside wall is a bell, and then there's in the brick there's like a brass fitting, and there's a chain that goes through a hole into the inside of the house, and it looks like somebody is pulling on the chain, ringing the bell.
Does the door appear locked?
Are you walking up to it? It's hard to tell from
I'm gonna touch myself on the chest and say, you can do it. And I'm gonna check in just to see if there's any traps leading up to the door or on the door. Okay. Wow. I rolled very poorly. I got 14.
That's a all-star roll for me. I'm not sure. what
Where?
to-
I have
Right.
plus 10, and I rolled a d20 and a d4. So
Ooh,
that is
hell.
really bad.
You do
Yikes.
not see any signs of anything to indicate that there be any kind of traps, and you
Great.
don't see that the door is locked. In fact, now that you're up close, one of the two double doors is just slightly open, just enough for you to see the edge of it and that it's not latched.
Oh, well, perfect. Doc is going to stride forward because there's clearly no traps, and he's going to shove the door open.
You grab the large handle and pull the heavy, creaky door open. And you can see into the entryway. As soon as you open the door, you hear one last dolorous ring of the bell. And immediately to the left of the door, you see the other end of the chain hanging and swinging back and forth. And the bell has stopped. In this area, you see a large entryway. Dust is covering everything inside this very wide hallway. Off to the left, on the western wall, past where the chain is, you see moth-eaten cloaks hanging from hooks. And both to the left and the right, you see disappearing into the gloomy darkness passageways. And ahead of you is a set of stairs leading up to the second floor, and underneath the stairs is a doorway that seems to lead out the back of the house.
Okay, everybody, where do you want to go first?
Vorn is going to once again close his eyes and try to Jean Grey the situation and try to feel where the presence is emanating from. I'm not sure if my psychic power allows. It's mostly
right now
telekinesis, not telepathy. So
right now, your psychic abilities are more in tune with your when you're fighting.
Right.
But you can reach out with your senses and make a perception check at disadvantage because of your exhaustion.
Ooh, that's gonna be a almighty 8.
You feel a coldness and an eeriness coming from all around you. If you look on the map screen, you can now see the layout of the house where you've entered in. The front door is where the red arrow is. You see passages the left and to the right, as I mentioned. But Vorn, you're not able to pinpoint anything specifically. Anybody else that would like to can also make a perception check as you enter this space.
Might as well. 17.
Dirty 20.
Three.
Tira,
Yeah.
from the hallway that leads off to the left, a little ways ahead, you suddenly hear you hear that sort of telltale. You as a teacher, I think you, Carrie, as a teacher, might recognize this sound. That very specific sound of a chair and several chairs being moved slightly. Yeah, that little being moved across the floor as people are adjusting chairs to take their seats. And you hear that buzz of many voices in one place coming just down that hallway.
Hey, hey, hey. And I just kind of like get the group's attention. And I just sort of like point over at that corridor. And I'm like, you guys hear that?
No.
Well, I hear something. And I just kind of start.
Check it out.
Yeah, I start walking.
All right, let's
Think, think,
Let's-
think, 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 think.
let's not split the party, okay?
No, well, that's up to you. I'm going this way. So is Kahlo.
Yeah, so am I.
So you head up off there to that hallway to the left.
Yeah.
And you see to the right, you see that there is what looks like some kind of meeting conference room, a round table with 4 chairs in the center of the room, windows looking over the back place, a fireplace, and you do see above the fireplace in this room there's a large portrait Just glancing in there, you see this large portrait of a dark-skinned woman dressed in a sort of cream-colored frock coat with a pale green cravat at her throat. Her dark hair is pulled up into an intricate twist, and she wears looks to be wearing delicate platinum and diamond earrings. Her hands are folded in her lap, and on one finger you see a heavy platinum signet ring with what looks like a snowdrop blossom inscribed upon it. As you're glancing in and seeing this, you hear more noise, but this comes from the room to your left, down in the the southwest corner there. And in this room, you see chairs arranged in staggered rows with their backs all facing towards you at the door. On the far side, in the corner of the room, is a podium, and there's a sideboard on the left side of the room, and a bookcase to the right side of the doorway. It's got a bunch of tomes and knickknacks. There's a chunk of unrefined platinum, raw platinum ore sitting there on the top of this bookshelf. There is a small fire burning in the fireplace. There's a few what looks like some tea and other beverages. Some plates with a little bit of food has been laid out on it.
Like, this is like an active fireplace.
Well, not only that, there are about a dozen people sitting in the chairs. And standing at the podium is the very woman who you saw in the portrait in the other room. The dark-skinned woman with her hair pulled up in a twist. Though in person, she seems much more haggard and tired. And as you stand and look in there, you see a large, tall human man stands up to his feet, and he says, "Mayor Duvezin, what are we going to do about this? This is the third night in a row, and at least 6 people have gone missing. Yeah, what do you expect? What are we going to do? We've got to take some sort of action. I want answers. My daughter's been missing for a week." All around the room, different people are speaking up. And the woman, Mayor Duvezin, takes a piece of wood, looks kind of like a gavel without a handle, and just dish, dish, dish. All right, listen up, everybody. Listen. I've told you, we are doing the best that we can. We don't know what is causing the disappearances. My wife and I are doing research. Even now, she is in the library upstairs, digging furiously through notes. We are trying to see what has happened. We don't have answers. At this point, what do you do?
Vorn takes a breath immediately, like exhales, like, "Oh, thank God, I thought they were a ghost."
Oh, I think they might be, Vaughn.
Oh gosh, now I'm scared.
I put my hands on Vorn's chest. I'm like, everything that they're talking about happened 70 years ago.
Yeah, I don't
They're
think
talking
this
about
is
it like
happening unless
They're
we're
talking
back
about it
in
like
time.
Yeah, they're talking about it like it happened yesterday.
Oh gosh.
If you don't mind, please don't stand in the hall. If you've got something to contribute, come inside and join us. The mayor is looking right at all of you.
Oh no, we're gonna go up to the library. Thank you. Bye.
And
Yeah, we got sent to help your wife. Yeah.
wait.
Doc is already on his way up to the library.
Go ahead.
Doc turns. You hear his heavy footsteps walking across the floor and to the stairs. What about the rest of you?
I wait because Vorn said wait.
And Vorn's going to like look at Tira and Kahlo like, and like kind of whisper, say like, "Are you saying that they're not really there? Are these? Is this a vision? Is this an apparition?"
Well, let's find out. Maybe it'll give us some answers.
Vorn, you hear from just behind your head, you hear Ditto. I don't understand what's happening. What are you talking to?
Okay. Yep. Well, how about Kahlo, you and Vaughn stay here. You listen. I'll go up and make sure Doc doesn't get in any trouble.
All right.
You hear above the other voices, you hear a woman speak up. My children have gone missing, and I haven't seen them. My son and my daughter. Please, can you help me?
Saying that to us or to the people?
As you look into the room, you see a human woman has stood up and is looking at all of you.
Kahlo.
I don't know where they are. She takes a step forward, stepping out from behind somebody else towards all of you, and she looks at you, Tira.
Oh,
Please,
yeah.
please.
Who?
They're
No.
They're just little, 6 and 11. Torin and Tira. I haven't seen them. And you realize this is your mother.
Tira.
Please.
Is there a door on this?
It's just an opening. The walls are all stone in here, and there's just a stone archway. She just takes another step forward. Please, Tira, I haven't seen my daughter, and I'm afraid my son is missing, and I don't know what is happening to him, and it's all your fault, Tira. It's all your fault, Tira. He is serving the shadow because of you, Tira. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy.
Fuck.
Oh, boy.
Oh no. That's
Roll with advantage.
Okay, yeah, I'll use a tome. I'll use this thing. Caca. Use a tome. Oh, Gary. Oh my God. I'm sending a picture to the chat. It's a good damn thing that I used advantage. That is a 16.
It's a very good roll, but it's not good enough.
Oh no.
As next to you, Vorn, you see and hear as Tira suddenly
Yep.
And Tira, you are slammed upward against the top of the archway, and you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as your head slams into the stone. What do the rest of you do?
Concussed.
I'm gonna try to dispel again because it worked last time.
I don't know.
I don't know why I wouldn't try it. Someone did the same thing.
Vorn is gonna shout, Kahlo, do your thing.
Do the thing.
And I'm going to, like, my eyes turn purple and my hands glow with purple energy. I'm gonna force push all the desk into the wall if I can.
Nice.
I
got
How are you doing
20 on the dispel magic.
Nice.
What are you using to attempt this, Vorn?
Oh, I'm just gonna use my my psionic power to force push everything in the room like
I don't think you can do that, can you?
To my understanding, but I'm not the D&D expert. I'll let you.
Let me check.
I can move. Let's see.
I think it's a single object, but I could be wrong.
Protective field, psionic strike, telekinetic movement. Okay. Yeah, I'll allow it.
You'll allow it?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so as Kahlo, you're attempting to dispel. Vorn, you're pushing out with your mind and spreading all these chairs and podium and everything. Kahlo, what is your roll on your dispel?
Well, I was more confident with it this time. I got a 20.
Yes, go.
There is, at the same moment that all of these chairs go flying, again, to your eyes, Vorn, everything, well, actually, I think to all of you at this point that are watching, they just seem to be gone. The chairs have all scattered and crashed. There's nobody standing in this room. You hear the sound of breaking dishes, old tea serviceware, and stuff like that has collapsed to the ground. And there's this sort of, the heavy sound of Tira falling to the ground next to you, taking another 2 bludgeoning damage.
Ow.
And then there's this sort of sound of something heavy that kind of awkwardly wobbles to next to your feet, Vorn, as this chunk, this large chunk of raw platinum ore lands at your feet. Doc, you do hear the sound of a bunch of furniture being knocked over as you head up the stairs, walking up to the second floor of this house. You get to the top of the stairs and you see that there's a couple doors to the east and the west, and you see a large opening straight across. Inside you see a table, and you see 4 wingback chairs, leather chairs that are sitting around it. Shelves filled with books line the walls. And you can see that gnarled old tree out the windows on the other side of the table, which the table is strewn with open books, notes, various pieces of paper and things like that. What do you do?
Okay, I'm gonna read the notes. I mean, Doc has talked about the nature of time before, so he's going to review the notes and see if he can see what happened, if there's any evidence, etc., etc.
So you won't need to make any checks. You're just looking through the notes. Several of the open books that are lying on the table have notes scribbled on bits of paper that are stuck between their pages. As you're flipping through, you see the topics include physical and emotional trauma, nightmares, mysterious disappearances.
Library.
There's
Check.
There's another book that is sitting off to one side that seems to be, it's not a very big book, but it is a book about the Shadowfell, and there's a single piece of parchment, and written in a shaky hand it says, "Could this be the answer?" Some of the notes have entries talking about Shadowfell influences. They all seem to hone in on things like psychic torment, openings in underground areas, places of death, places of tragedy, especially in places where mass tragedy has been felt. All of it seems to point to, with that note, could this be the answer, that the tragedy that happened here 70 years ago may have opened a rift to the Shadowfell in the mine.
Okay. Doc will gather up the relevant notes and head downstairs.
What are the rest of you doing in the wake of this? As Vorn is sort of standing there like this, having just
I'm
shoved
coughing.
everything, you're gasping, getting your breath back. Kahlo, you've just once again dispelled whatever this is.
I can only do that probably once more before I
And-
get some rest.
Vorn looks over at Kahlo and says, "Thank you." And then I'm going to rush over to
You
Tira.
all right, Tira?
Yeah, I'm going to rush over to Tira and help her up.
Yeah, I'm fine. It wasn't real. It wasn't
Okay.
real.
No, it wasn't. And I look over into Tira's eyes and I deeply say, it wasn't real. Let me guess. It was your fault, right? Everything died? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's feeding off of what's inside of us. We can't trust anything in this city. And Vorn's gonna stand up above and reach out his forearm and grab her by her forearm.
I take it, and I get up.
And
Right.
Vorn's gonna look at Tira and, do you have your sword?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah. Do you have your
Right.
mind?
Yep, I got that too. Shing, and I'm like, we got to go get Duck.
Okay.
As you say that, you hear Doc's heavy footsteps coming down the stairs.
Doc, you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. I think I found the answer.
Dib,
Share?
what's
oh.
going on?
Yes,
Say
it
more.
seems as though there's a rift to the Shadowfell somewhere in the basement of this house that was torn open by emotional trauma and a communal despair. Or at least that's my theory based on the notes that I found. I could be wrong, although it's rare.
So, Doc,
Yes.
when the thing had me in its grips, it said it was an ancient. It felt very much like the presence of what's inside of the Blood Axe and the demons that taunt me. But these ancients are... It said it was an ancient. Is there anything that you've seen or read that helps us at all? How can we beat this thing?
Did it feel like when you went into the child's grave, when you went onto the other side? Because that was the Shadowfell. It's the same plane.
I would say that felt like swimming through molasses. This feels like swimming through lava. It's feeding. It's that didn't pull from inside. One was walking out of a door, the other one was pulling me through the door. Does that... That's
Yes, I suppose that makes sense. But if what I read is true, we need to find the basement and find out how it's connected to the Shadowfell and perhaps close it and maybe bring peace to these wandering souls who have not rested for so long.
obviously they're still fighting over what happened decades ago. They're trapped.
Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Because remember, it could just be a projection of how you see the events of 70 years ago being projected into your mind by the Shadowfell. You might be a guest star in their story. It's hard to say until... Yes?
I'm gonna spiral. Where's the basement?
This is my first time here. How would I know where the basement is? I assume it's down.
I have a question.
I'm looking around the room.
Where did the basement come from?
The mine. They said it's in the mine, right?
Oh, the mine. Yeah.
That's what I meant. The mine. Sorry.
Okay. Those are two very different things.
Yeah.
Too bad. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
You confused even me. I'm like, wait.
No,
wait,
because
did I mention a
underground.
basement? I don't think I mentioned a basement.
No, the mine. So how do we get to the mine? That's where we need to go because the The tear in the space is open in the mind, and we need to go there. But I don't know how to get there.
Wait, Kahlo, do you have a map? The survey team, do they have maps? Right? Like, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. I look at Manistrad.
Manistrad's
Yeah.
not in here with you.
Oh,
Manistrad and the other stayed outside.
Would that be anything I would have?
I don't think you would have the map on you.
Okay.
You probably would have seen it, that the very crude information that you had was that the mine was to the northeast of the town. And as a reminder, this town sort of sits, you came up to the top of this mountain, and there's sort of parts of it. It's almost like a caldera without being a caldera, sort of a plateau, but there's large sections of the mountain that rise even further behind you. So there's like whole cliff faces just a couple 100 feet behind where you are currently in this house. Everybody make me a perception check real quick.
Can do be.
7.
5.
9.
Lauren?
19.
As you turn to leave, Vorn, you hear this. Everybody starts heading out the door, and you hear this. It sounds like taut rope swinging slightly.
Ooh.
And as you turn and look, you see from the top of the stairs where a rope has been tied around the banister, and the mayor has hung herself.
Jesus.
And as you look at her, her eyes open.
Oh my god!
They are pools of darkness.
Cool.
As they look at you, she reaches out with her hand pointing at you, and you see that platinum ring that was in the ghostly apparition and in the portrait as she points at you. You must find it. It's the only way you can stop her. Vornok.
Find what?
The deeper you go, closer you get. They are not your enemy. And this vision of her seems to dissipate slowly and turn to this sort of cloudy shadow, almost like dry ice, and as it comes down to the ground, you hear ting 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 ting, and as it clears away, you see that platinum signet ring lying on the floor in the foyer.
Vorn is going to walk over to it.
That could be cursed. I'm just
Within-
saying.
You are there. You're getting drunk.
I know.
Within a couple of steps, I look at it, and I use my psychic energy to lift it up, like just to my eye level, and I slowly bring it to my hand, and it's kind of hovering in the air, and it kind of like just floats above my hand for a few moments, and then I let it drop into my hand, and I close it.
You feel the cold metal of the ring in your hand. You have a platinum signet ring of Mayor Duvazen with the snowdrop emblem on it. So you can make a note of that somewhere.
Yep. And then I look around the room. I look at all four corners of the room, And I say, you will have your rest. You will have your peace. And I walk out and close the door behind me.
All right. As you are all outside, Manistrad looks, and the others are looking kind of like wary at all of you. I don't know what was going on in there. I don't like this place. There's a chill feeling. The mine is this way. And she points up an overgrown path that leads off to the northeast.
Wait, Manistrad.
Yes.
You have to survey this mine, right?
Yes, we have to determine if the mine itself is viable.
Who sent you to do this and why?
Like I said, we were... the Royal Mining Consortium is constantly digging through old records, and we came across this old book called The Deep and Creeping Darkness that, as I said, it told the story of Vermeulen and the mine and all that. But we just didn't know if there was any validity to it. There was enough.
Okay.
And when I was at Candlekeep, Telisavoste was able to verify some of the information, enough for us to be here. At this point, I can only hope it's worth it. Why do you ask?
It seems to be the nexus point that's in... What's the word I'm looking for, Mizia? With the souls being in prison, imprisoning these souls, and it seems to be the point in which everything is converging upon. I don't blame you. I don't. I just question the motives of your employers. But lead us to the mine, and we can resolve this.
I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about, Varn. You're talking about imprisoned souls? What are you on about?
Manistrad, this place is haunted. It's haunted as shit.
I mean, it's very creepy, I'll give you that, but...
Who was ringing that bell?
I don't know, you're the ones that went inside.
After the bell was ringing, who the shit was in there doing it, you think?
You're the ones that went inside. We stayed outside. Did you see
nobody
anyone?
was in there. No.
Maybe it was the wind. I don't know.
The wind doesn't ring bells. But that's okay.
Maybe
Just
Vaughn's
lead us-
being too kind. Maybe you are in on it.
Well, let's just go to the mine. I don't understand why we're still talking about this. None of it matters.
Pissing me off.
And I'm going to saddle up to Tira, and as we're walking towards the mine, I appreciate you having seen what I see. I'm gonna open my hand and show her the platinum ring that I got from the mayor's manor.
Can I take it and look at it just close?
Wait.
Oh. What?
I'm not sure if it's safe to really touch. And there's kind of like a purple glow around the ring, so like it's kind of like I'm never really holding it. It's kind of like just kind of hovering a centimeter above my palm. And I kind of just hold it out. I'm saying, and as we're walking and talking, and I'm looking at like and I'm kind of looking. You know how in rings sometimes there's a engraving on the inside of the ring. Is there anything there?
Inside the ring, you just see from your wife and children.
And I'm kind of gonna kind of after Tira's got a good look at it, and I'm just gonna say, I don't like it, Tira. I don't like it at all, but it doesn't seem like we have anything but to follow through. Yeah.
I don't like any of this. There's something else going on. I think you might be right. Don't think it's Manistrad, but she's pissing me off.
It's okay.
As you say that, Tira, Kahlo, Manistrad says to you, I don't know what her problem is, but she's pissing me off.
Yes, the smash cut.
Hopefully when we get onto the job, all of these tensions will cool down. People are not doing great. We didn't sleep very well.
Doc is looking between Tira and Vorn, and he's looking between Kahlo and Manistrad, and he's like, why is everybody so pissed off?
That is like the absolute effect of not getting a good night's sleep.
That is perfect. Yeah.
Doc is going to continue walking toward the mine along the path.
All right.
Awesome.
Doc.
Yes, Vorn?
Do you have anything that I could listen, I'm feeling a little sluggish. I want to be keen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any leaves or anything I can chew that would help me? Listen, I didn't get good sleep. I want to be alert.
Well, I do have a little something. It's not exactly a leaf. It's a cocktail.
Oh,
Okay.
Are you sure you want it?
Can you make it real quick before we?
Oh
Oh,
no,
so party.
it's already made.
And Vorn
It's ready
reaches
to
out his
go.
hand like, yeah.
Okay. He will pass you a flask that's sort of in a covered horn, and he'll remove the leather stopper on it, and he will say, maybe you should hang on to this one until you need it. It's not exactly going to help you out at this moment. But I don't know, maybe it will. Drink away.
oh
Yeah,
my
and-
god.
At that point, like Vorn's already handing back the empty flask. I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
I already shot it down.
So you add 1 to your AC for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Waste.
Awesome.
All right.
You all reach the entrance to the platinum mine, a gaping hole in the
Guys, we
mountainside.
made it.
Did it in a fairly timely manner.
We made it.
It only took 11 days.
Shoot. I'm proud of us in this moment.
Same.
As you
Same,
all
Miss
stand there,
Hines.
I just see this moment of from inside. We just see at sort of the bottom of the frame, we see the rough stone of the opening, and then we just see all of you stepping
Silhouettes.
forward. Kahlo steps forward. Then on either side, all of this, the fellowship of the mine steps forward, and then Kahlo's like, "I'm really proud of us." And in that moment, there's a sudden as several bats just come flying out from inside, swooping overhead and disappearing into the sky. This gaping hole in the mountainside is the entrance. Several carts are sitting outside of this cavern. One is filled with rock and dirt pulled from the mine. Others are piled with large beams of wood. It looks like there were new supports that were either part of the reclamation effort or that never were installed after the collapse. You can see that for about 30 feet inside this mine that it's dim light, but the further in you go, it is darkness. Who does not have dark vision? Just Tira.
I don't actually know if I have dark vision. Do
I
turtles
don't
have dark
think
vision?
turtles
Let's
do.
find out. I don't think I do. I don't. I
Okay.
do not have dark vision.
Glad I'm not alone.
So the two of
I
you,
like to be in the sunshine.
Yes.
the two of you
I
do
have
not
dark
have.
vision. No dark vision. Dark vision. No dark
upgrades.
vision.
I do have the lantern though. I bought this lantern, so
Oh,
Vorn,
good.
Vorn
I'm
reaches back in
good.
his satchel and he like is flumming through his
Oh.
goggles and
I
half
forgot.
of them
I have my goggles of night, so I just put those on.
Oh,
you go.
good. I don't have shit.
And
Vorn
they
pulls
just
his,
glow.
yeah, and Vorn pulls his goggles out and he's like, half of my goggles are wrecked. I just and I hand Tira like one lens, like here, maybe this will help you with one eye. I'm sorry. Or if you
Thank you.
God.
It doesn't help you.
It looks great, Vaughn. Thanks. Could I also maybe have a hand on your shoulder as we go deeper?
Vorn looks back at Tira and smirks, like with a flirtatious smirks, and goes, just the shoulder, and then begins to walk forward.
I smack him on the ass and then put my hand back on his shoulder.
Tira,
It is like smacking concrete.
Good to know.
there is a tap on your shoulder, Tira,
Oh shit, I hate
and
it.
you turn around to see Mizya.
Okay. Oy. I miss you. Sorry,
If you
I'm
are
a little
having
jumpy.
difficulty seeing in the darkness, perhaps you should try one of those torches sticking out of your pack.
Yeah, but I don't want to give away our position if we're trying to be sneaky. Oi, everybody.
As
are we
you
trying
say
to be
that, your
sneaky?
voice is sort of echoing through the cave.
We trying to be sneaky? Hey,
Think
Kahlo,
we are?
Are we?
I
don't
don't know why we should.
As you say that, you hear a loud clattering sound as like very loud, echoing through the caverns as the Rack and Crack sisters have dumped one of the mine carts, all of the contents out of it. And
Awesome.
then they just kind of, Manistrad turns and it's just like all of you looking at them and they just kind of shrug.
I imagine them, by the way, as what are the two pill bugs in A Bug's Life? Tuck and roll. I swear to
Yes.
God, that's what I've been
Tuck and
picturing this whole time.
roll.
Like, hut, hut, hey.
I don't know
But-
why, but for whatever reason, they don't talk either.
Yes!
They've never said anything.
Tuck and roll don't talk
No.
either. That's exactly.
I wonder
why
if I
I'm
was
having this
subconsciously channeling them, because this whole
Awesome.
time, the Rack and Crack sisters have not said anything. They just look and shrug.
Zero
And,
words. So I just kind of would be like, I guess that's a no, and then I would dig out a torch and like it lights.
All right, so you have 20 feet of bright light and 20 feet of dim light. Just as a reminder for everyone using dark vision or looking beyond the 20 feet of bright light, your perception checks will be at disadvantage in this low light. But you see that the mine is very dark and damp, and you can hear somewhere deep within the sound of dripping water echoing. The light from outside fades almost quicker than you would have expected, and it almost seems, Tira, less like your light is illuminating the area than it is keeping the shadows at bay. The flickering of the torch almost seems like shadow pressing in on you as you move into this tunnel. These tunnels are 10 to 15 feet wide, and you can see all of the markings on the walls of pickaxes, and a couple sections where you can see Kahlo, you would recognize blast marks where a section of rock was blasted away. You walk along through these tunnels for a little ways. In one section, you find a small chamber that has worn picks and rusty shovels, a couple of hand carts that are filled with debris and rags that look like tools that were left behind by workers in the wake of the disaster. You hear a little bit of movement and squeaking, and holding your torch upward, the ceiling seems to writhe as you see about 20 feet overhead swarms of bats clinging to the ceiling. You continue along a tunnel that winds around. One section ends in odd divots and alcoves at various heights. Kahlo, again, you would recognize this. This is a wall that was prepared for blasting, but never fully was followed through with. Continuing along a little bit further, you find an area of the tunnel where mounds of broken rock are blocking up ahead, piled from ceiling to floor. You see, this appears to be a section of the mine where the actual cave-in happened. The tunnel moves forward and ends abruptly. Very large rocks are blocking the pathway. The entire ceiling and parts of the walls seem a little bit wider, but the whole thing is just packed in with stones. But immediately to the right of this opening, you see that there is another section of tunnel heading to the east and deeper in. The opening of this tunnel is nearly circular. Black moss covers the walls, floor, and ceiling of the tunnel as far as you can see. And within, you can see several branches, all of them covered in the same black moss.
Does it look like it's been excavated, or does it look like something? And based on what I know about like how tools look and stuff, or does it look like something's like punched a hole through it?
Kahlo, this is your.
Oh yeah,
Kahlo, this is your area of expertise. I am not going to. Well, I am going to have you roll. You're going to get part of this information, but I do want to roll to see. Something else.
Good question, bro. Good question.
What kind of roll would you like?
Sorry. Yeah, I just need you to roll. Just roll.
Just roll. General roll.
Sorry. You can. I'm waiting for you to roll your dice. I'm like, why is she not rolling? This is going to be an intelligence, arcana, or nature.
We'll do arcana because it's better, but I didn't roll very well. So,
can only roll well to save our lives.
Yeah, it's only a 10.
Okay. What you do know, looking at this, especially with all of the several, at this point, several hundred feet of mine you've walked through, is that these tunnels, and you're standing at the opening of this, and what you see is actually this sort of black moss seems to almost be creeping out of this circular hole, and inside you see all of this almost like carpeting of moss. You see that this opening and the tunnels were not created by hand, claw, or tools. There are no tool marks on these openings. It's almost as if they just magically appeared. And as you all stand at this opening, looking in, Vorn, you hear in your mind, "That's it. You're almost there."
God.
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Wow.
All right. Well,
Wow.
that was episode 48, A Lingering Fear.
That was good. That was good.
Very good.
Oh,
I love
like it. I don't like it one bit. And
I
yet
love as soon as you get to the mine, Kahlo's like, we're here, guys. We made it.
We did it!
Mission accomplished.
So,
She's excited. She was excited to
Right?
come to mine.
you should
Yes.
be excited.
That's awesome, dude. Wow.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Good stuff.
Vaughn
Good
feels like
stuff.
he's taking a final exam that he did not have time to study.
Yep. Yep.
I-
Yep.
I think, okay. Yeah, Tildeloo just started streaming a half hour ago, so we're going to raid our friend Tildeloo as we head out of here. I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody who tuned in to hang out with us tonight. We appreciate you. If you are somebody that likes to lurk in the chat and not participate through the actual chat and all that stuff, cool. We appreciate you too. Hope you enjoy hanging out and you're enjoying the stories we're telling. And we are very appreciative of having you here. And of course, I want to say a huge thank you to these amazing players that I get the pleasure of playing this game with each week. So a huge thank you to Gary, Carrie, Ricky, our special guest Brooke, who was here originally here for, hey, can you play for a couple sessions?
You're
2
a hell
months
of a
later,
sixth man.
and so thank you to Brooke. And even though he's not here tonight, he's here with us in spirit, Dwight, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. We're gonna go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Metadata.
Metadata.